Right now, at this very moment, Manchester United are in active talks over a centre-back who is wanted by Bayern Munich and Manchester City. At the same time, a source close to one of their own defenders has just confirmed he believes he is fitter and stronger than he has ever been in his life, and he is coming to prove it. Across Europe, a Real Madrid dressing room has reportedly collapsed into open internal conflict, and sitting right in the middle of that chaos is a player who has been described as a dream target for this club. And while all of that is happening at senior level, a 15-year-old is training at Carrington, and one of the greatest captains in Manchester United history just showed up quietly at the side of the pitch to watch him. This is not a quiet Friday. This is not routine news cycle content. Every single one of these stories has a direct consequence for what Manchester United looks like when next season kicks off. The decisions being made right now in offices and on training pitches and in conversations between agents and clubs will shape this squad for years. The question is not whether changes come in. The question is whether the right changes are being made. And that is exactly what we are going to break down today, piece by piece, story by story, with nothing left out. The reality for Manchester United right now is that the club is entering one of the most critical transfer windows in recent memory. The squad needs surgery. The defence has been unreliable due to injuries. The midfield may need a statement signing. And decisions are being made right now behind the scenes that will define whether this club takes a genuine step forward or another expensive step sideways. Every story we cover today feeds into that same question. What does next season look like? Who is staying? Who is leaving? And who is coming in? Let us go piece by piece. Lisandro Martinez and the centre-back situation. Let us start with Lisandro Martinez. The situation with the Argentine defender is one of the most layered stories at this club right now. A source close to Martinez has confirmed that the injuries he suffered came at deeply frustrating times for him. The layoffs did not happen during difficult periods of form. They happened when he was playing well and felt like an important and established part of the team. That is a crucial detail. This was not a player who was dropped or struggling. This was a player who was thriving and then had the ground taken from beneath him by injury. What is interesting is what those experiences appear to have done to him mentally. People close to Martinez now believe he has become more driven since those layoffs. He is aware that time has passed in his career. He is aware that moments have been lost. And rather than using that as a reason to move on, it has apparently made him even more determined to prove himself here. He believes he has come out of his knee injury stronger and fitter than ever, and that is a point he is committed to demonstrating. There is also a personal dimension to this. He became a father for the first time in March 2025, during the early weeks of his rehabilitation from the knee injury. That experience clearly gave him a new sense of perspective and balance during what could have been one of the darkest periods of his career. It is clear that Martinez is in a different mental space now, more grounded, more focused. Now here is the analyst layer. Despite all of that, the club is not simply standing still and waiting on Martinez to reclaim his place. The club is actively monitoring the centre-back market. They have already extended Harry Maguire on a one-year deal, but the long-term picture is still uncertain. They have been linked with Mickey van der Ven from Tottenham, who is a left-footed centre-back. However, the feeling is that van der Ven is more likely to end up at Liverpool than at Old Trafford. That leaves the door open for other options. One name circulating is Castello Lukeba from RB Leipzig. The claim is that Manchester United are leading the race to sign him this summer, and that initial talks have already taken place with the defender's representatives. Lukeba is also being monitored by Bayern Munich and Manchester City, which tells you immediately this is not a quiet or straightforward situation. His Leipzig contract includes a release clause of 80 million euros, though the suggestion is he could potentially leave for slightly less this summer. The analytical point here is clear. The club clearly rates Martinez as a key figure. He is described as someone whose personality and leadership are valued by Michael Carrick and his staff. But the club is also being honest with itself about the fact that you cannot rely on a player who has been unavailable so often. The centre-back market exploration is not a signal they are pushing Martinez out. It is a signal they are trying to build a more robust and reliable defensive unit. These two stories, Martinez's renewed motivation and the search for reinforcements, are not contradictions. They are both parts of the same plan. Senne Lammens and what Edwin van der Sar said, this is a story that deserves far more attention than it is getting. Edwin van der Sar has spoken about Manchester United goalkeeper Senne Lammens, and his words carry enormous weight given who van der Sar is. His assessment was direct and striking. Van der Sar said that Lammens reminds him of himself. Let that land for a moment. he explained that he has seen Lammens play in Belgium at Royal Antwerp. But what impressed him most was watching Lammens come into Manchester United, a club that has been going through enormous instability with changing managers, changing players, and turbulent periods, and handle it all with composure. Van der Sar described Lammens as having steadied the ship. He noted that Lammens came in, made the saves he needed to make, was brave coming out, played with his feet calmly, and was composed throughout. Here is the part that stands out the most from an analytical perspective. Van der Sar said he played like that at 34. Lammens is doing it so young. That comparison is not something Van der Sar would make lightly. He is one of the greatest goalkeepers this club and this sport has ever seen. When he says a young goalkeeper reminds him of himself, that is not flattery. That is a serious assessment. The situation for the club is that they appear to have found a goalkeeper who can handle the pressure of Old Trafford at a very young age. In a team that has been through so much, a calm and composed presence in goal is not a small thing. It is foundational. The Tchouameni situation. Dream target or distant hope? Now let us talk about Aurelien Tchouameni. This one is important to handle carefully because there are multiple voices speaking on this story and the picture is genuinely uncertain. Fabrizio Romano confirmed that there is interest from Manchester United in Tchouameni. He described the Real Madrid midfielder as a dream target for the club. But Romano also made it very clear that interest alone does not mean a transfer is happening. His specific point was that the fact Tchouameni had a reported disagreement with Valverde does not automatically mean he is leaving for Old Trafford. A separate voice, football journalist Nath Salt, added further nuance. Around a week before his comments, Salt had felt that Tchouameni was actually angling for a new contract at Real Madrid, not a move away, but he acknowledged that the situation inside the Madrid dressing room has shifted dramatically. He described Real Madrid as having descended into serious internal conflict, almost chaotically so, with the situation changing rapidly day by day. The analytical takeaway here is this. Manchester United's long-standing interest in Tchouameni is real. That much is confirmed. But the situation at Real Madrid is unstable and fluid. Whether that instability leads to Tchouameni being available for a transfer, or whether it actually makes him want to stay and fight for his place, is something nobody can say with certainty right now. What we can say is that if Tchouameni does become available, United are in that conversation. Whether they can afford to do the deal and compete with other European clubs who will also be interested is a separate and significant question. This remains clearly a rumour at this stage. Not a done deal, not even a negotiation yet, as far as the available information tells us. Michael Carrick on Sunderland and on his squad ahead of Manchester United's upcoming match at the Stadium of Light, Michael Carrick spoke about Sunderland and about his own squad. On Sunderland, his words were respectful and honest. He acknowledged that Sunderland have had a fantastic season, that they have an awful lot to play for, and that being in the top half of the table and within touching distance of European qualification is a real credit to them. Carrick is not underestimating the challenge ahead. On his own squad, Carrick made an interesting and revealing set of comments. He acknowledged that the squad has been used to playing more games over previous years than they have this season. The absence from cup competitions and the gaps between fixtures have created a different kind of challenge. Some players have played significantly more than others, and Carrick recognises that managing that professionally while keeping the squad together and motivated has been one of the unique challenges of his time in charge. But he was clear that the togetherness and support players have shown each other has been one of the highlights of this period. He described the squad spirit as something he is genuinely proud of. And he was honest that next season will require adding both younger players and more experienced ones, calling it a natural step in evolving and growing the squad. The analytical point is significant. Carrick is already thinking about next season. He is framing the squad building conversation in public terms, which suggests the club are already deep into planning. The admission that the squad needs more depth and experience is important context for every transfer story we have discussed today. Marcus Rashford, is he coming back to Manchester United? This is the story that many supporters are watching closely. Marcus Rashford is currently on loan at Barcelona from Manchester United. And the news coming out today suggests his priority is to stay at Barcelona permanently beyond the summer. Those close to Rashford's camp have indicated that his priority is to remain at the club. They are confident that an agreement on personal terms with Barcelona would not be a problem. Barcelona hold an option to sign Rashford permanently from Manchester United with a set transfer fee of £30.3 million included as part of the loan deal. The picture around Rashford is that he has had a very good season at Barcelona, contributing 13 goals and 14 assists across 46 matches in all competitions. He lost his place in the Manchester United starting lineup in the previous campaign under Ruben Amorim, spent the second half of that season on loan at Aston Villa, then returned briefly to Old Trafford before completing the move to Barcelona. Declan Rice, the Arsenal and England midfielder, was asked about the best free kick taker he has ever seen. On corners, he said he would name himself, but on free kicks, his answer was unambiguous. He named Marcus Rashford. His exact words were that the way Rashford hits the ball is so good. He placed Rashford above Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes on that particular quality. The analytical picture here is straightforward. Rashford appears to have found a home and a confidence at Barcelona. His numbers are genuinely impressive, and those close to him are making clear he wants to stay. Unless Barcelona cannot find the finances or the will to execute the £30.3 million option, it looks increasingly as though Rashford's Manchester United chapter is over. That is not necessarily a negative for United. The fee would bring funds into the club, and the evidence from this season suggests the player and the club had both moved in different directions. Luke Shaw on Paul Pogba, an unexpected tribute. Luke Shaw spoke about Paul Pogba, and the words he used were striking in their honesty. Shaw said that for talent alone, Pogba was probably one of the best players he has ever played with. He described him as scary good. He said Pogba could do everything, and could do everything so well. Shaw expressed genuine regret that things did not work out better, but acknowledged that sometimes things are not meant to be, and that at the time, perhaps it was not the right moment for Pogba at the club. What is interesting analytically is the phrasing. Shaw did not say Pogba was a bad player or that he was wrong for the club. He gave a thoughtful and balanced view. He clearly holds Pogba in extremely high regard as a footballer, while also accepting that circumstances and timing played a role in the outcome. This kind of reflection from a player currently at the club gives insight into the culture of honesty that exists in this squad. Shaw is not performing for an audience. He is giving a genuine assessment. Toby Collier on Casemiro, professionalism and respect. Toby Collier spoke about Casemiro, and his words painted a picture of genuine admiration. Collier acknowledged that not being picked by the previous manager, Ruben Amorim, was probably a big shock for someone of Casemiro's status. He said it was perhaps something Casemiro had not experienced before at that level. But what impressed Collier was the response. Casemiro carried on, kept doing the right things, and showed what a true professional he is. Collier described how Casemiro would come over and explain things to him personally, talking him through situations and showing real care for the development of younger players. That is why Collier said he looks up to Casemiro so much. The analytical takeaway is important. Casemiro has been a controversial figure in terms of on-field performance in recent seasons. But the testimony from a younger player like Collier speaks to the off-field leadership he provides. That kind of dressing room influence has genuine value, and it is something any club building for the future should factor into decisions about his future. Morgan Rogers, a link that does not make sense. Naf Salt addressed the reported link between Morgan Rogers and Manchester United, and his analysis was blunt. Salt acknowledged that Rogers is a player many people within the club and beyond admire. He accepted that Rogers will be one of the best players available in the summer transfer market. But his central argument was that Rogers does not fit the specific needs of Manchester United right now. His reasoning was clear. The club already has Kuncha and Dorgu as a backup option. At 10, Bruno Fernandes is not going anywhere, and there is no need for another central creative midfielder in that position. Salt's conclusion was that Rogers is high on Chelsea's list, and that United's resources need to be used in areas where there are genuine gaps. His words were direct. United need a lot, but they do not need Morgan Rogers. This is exactly the kind of analytical discipline that matters in a transfer window. Being linked with talented players is easy. Having the discipline to say a talented player does not fit your specific needs is harder and more valuable. Prince Amoako Jonar, a young attacker, catching eyes across Europe. A name worth watching is Prince Amoako Jr., a 19-year-old attacker currently playing for FC Nordsjælland in Denmark. The claim is that Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain are leading the race to sign him this summer. Following an impressive season, he is attracting attention from a wide range of clubs, including Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund, RB Leipzig, and Brighton. A deal is estimated to cost somewhere between 27 million euros and 32 million euros. It is important to note that at this stage, this is a rumour. No deal has been done. No official confirmation has come from either club. But the breadth of interest across major European clubs suggests this is a player with genuine quality. The price range, somewhere around 30 million euros, is not unreasonable for an exciting young attacker with room to grow. Whether this is the kind of profile Manchester United are looking to bring in, given everything else happening, this window remains an open question. JJ Gabriel, the 15-year-old that legends are watching, perhaps the most exciting story in this entire breakdown, and the one that speaks most directly to the future of Manchester United, is the story of JJ Gabriel. The 15-year-old has been training with the Manchester United first team, and the frequency of these sessions has been increasing significantly over recent weeks. He has even missed youth team matches in order to train with the senior squad. That is not a casual or accidental decision by the club. That is a deliberate choice to accelerate his development. What made the most recent session particularly noteworthy was who was watching. Brian Robson, one of the greatest players in Manchester United history and a former club captain, was pictured watching Gabriel during the session at Carrington. Specifically, Robson was spotted observing as Gabriel played a pass during a drill that included Luke Shaw. Brian Mabumo had already spoken about how impressive Gabriel is in training after an earlier session. Rio Ferdinand has also been spoken of as an admirer. Now Robson joins that list. The evidence suggests that Manchester United are genuinely planning for Gabriel to be involved with the first team next season. He is not yet old enough to play senior football, but the club is clearly building towards giving him that exposure from the moment he becomes eligible. The suggestion is that pre-season could be an opportunity for him to get minutes and experience the intensity of senior training in a competitive context. The significance of a club legend like Brian Robson watching a 15-year-old in training should not be understated. This is a club with enormous history and enormous standards. The fact that greats of the game are showing up specifically to watch this teenager speaks volumes about what those inside the club believe he could become. It also represents something culturally important. Manchester United's identity has always been tied to producing extraordinary young players. The fact that the bridge between past greatness and potential future greatness is being made so visibly, with Robson watching Gabriel in the same drill as senior internationals, feels like a genuine and meaningful moment. So what does all of this tell us when you pull it all together? Manchester United under Michael Carrick are in a period of genuine transition. The squad has shown unity and resilience this season. The manager is honest about what the squad needs. The club is actively pursuing multiple targets in multiple positions, and the infrastructure of the club, from the goalkeeper to the youth academy, is showing real signs of strength. The defensive situation is being addressed seriously. Whether it is through Martinez's return to full fitness or through additions like Lukeba, the club recognises the issue and is acting on it. The goalkeeper position, with Lammens drawing comparisons to Van der Sar at such a young age, looks more settled than it has in a long time. The midfield remains the most uncertain area. Tchouameni is a dream target, but as of today, it is a dream, not a done deal. United's interest is real. Everything else is still speculation. And at the foundation of all of it, a 15-year-old is training with legends at Carrington, while another legend watches from the sideline. That, for supporters who have had a difficult few years, might be the most encouraging thing of all. Stay tuned to Adam United Analyst for the latest updates as they develop. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe now and turn on notifications so you never miss an analysis. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Which of these stories matters most to you? I will see you in the next one.